Hi there, it's Professor Monty, and let's talk about solving some quadratic applications. Now, I'm specifically doing quadratics here, but the steps will work for pretty much any type of application that you have. So the first thing, I want to write a word equation. So I'm going to read the problem, I'm going to understand it, but I'm going to try to just write out in words. But I'm not worried about numbers at this point. Numbers might confuse me. I'm just going to write a word equation. Then I'm going to translate the word equation into an algebraic equation. That's what I'm going to put in the numbers and any variables and things like that. And then I'll solve the equation. And then I'm going to check for reasonableness and write my answer. But a lot of students look at a word problem or an application and they don't know what to do and they get confused and they get scared and they don't know where to start. We'll start by just putting it into words. Let me show you an example. Here's our problem. The product of two consecutive odd integers is 35. Find the integers. Okay, so product, we know that means multiply. Two consecutive odd integers. Okay, so here's what we know. If I multiply two consecutive odd integers, let's just say two numbers. I'm going to multiply two numbers together, and the product is 35. So I'm going to say first number times the second number is going to equal 35. And maybe you didn't even want to put 35 here. Maybe you just want to say that's the product. In fact, let's just do that. So the first number times the second number is going to be the product, whatever that is. Well, I don't know what the first number is. Let's just call it x. Now, the second number, I can't call it x. That means they have the same number. I can't call it y. That's not really going to help in this case. But I do know they're consecutive odd integers. So maybe numbers like 3 and 5, 5 and 7. Those are consecutive odd integers. Well, if the first one's x, think about odd integers, 3, 5, 7, 9. If they're consecutive, meaning one follows the other, they're always going to be 2 apart. So if one's x, the other one's going to be x plus 2. And don't get confused if this had consecutive even integers, 2, 4, 6, those are also 2 apart. We'd also say x times x plus 2. The only difference is if they said consecutive integers, then it's like 3, 4, 5. This would be x times x plus 1. Okay, so here's my word equation. First number times the second number is the product. My second equation, x times x plus 2 equals the product, which we said was 35. Now I want to solve that. So I multiply this out. Remember, if two numbers multiply together to 35, it doesn't mean one of them has to be 35. That only works for 0. So I'm going to multiply these out, distribute. I get x squared plus 2x equals 35. I'm going to subtract the 35 to set it equal to 0. And you may have done that all in the same step. X squared plus 2x minus 35 equals 0. All right, there's my equation. That's what I need to solve. Well, however we solve this, in this case, I'm going to factor it. Two numbers that multiply to 35, their difference is 2. So that's going to be positive 7, negative 5. And again, refer to one of my earlier videos if you have trouble factoring quadratics or factoring anything else. So notice these multiply to negative 35. And if I add the negative 7, 5, and the plus 2, I have the wrong sign there. That's why I check. All right, so it's negative 7. It's positive 7 and negative 5. When I solve these, I'm going to say x plus 7 equals 0, or x equals negative 7. And x minus 5 equals 0, or x equals 5. Well, those aren't my answers because they're not consecutive odd integers. So maybe they're negative 7, or maybe they're 5. So remember, I had consecutive integers. I had x and x plus 2. Well, if x was negative 7, I get negative 7 plus 2, which is negative 5. Oh, those are consecutive odd integers, and they do multiply to 35. But what if they're 5? Oh, 5 and 7 are also consecutive odd integers. They also have a product of 35. So either of these works. So this time I actually get 2 answers. Now, if they had said something like instead of integers, they said whole numbers. Remember, whole numbers can't be negative, so I'd only have the 5 and the 7. But they said integer, so it might be either pair. So I get two answers. Be careful, but my big thing here, write the word equation first if you're having trouble getting the equation. Some people go straight to the equation. If you can go straight here, just do it. But if you're having trouble, write the word equation first and then translate it to an algebraic equation. All right, good luck, work on this, and you'll get better and better, and you'll end up getting it, and it'll be a good thing.